better suspension is a much safer riding experience, no matter which way you look at it.
The front wheel of your motorcycle has the simplest action with the most complex job: to steer a chassis, engine and rider across every surface at any speed. What makes this possible is not the wheel itself, but the varying geometric positioning of its axle, rake, trail and offset, all engineered into the front suspension. BMW utilize a unique suspension system called the telelever, which combines a traditional front fork with a swing arm style linkage. This design separates the duties of steering and impact damping. The telescopic forks are simply springless sliders that hold and steer the wheel, while all the impact energy is absorbed by a shock absorber and swing arm, which pivots off the engine. Right now, I'm upgrading the front suspension and servicing the sliders. This leg has had moisture in it, and the tube is a bit rusty, so I hit it with some fine emery. And remember, you don't stroke it, you pepper grind it for the correct finish. I'm not altering suspension travel here, but the Touratech shock I'm installing has an internal reservoir with a floating piston, which separates the oil and nitrogen to better prevent foaming and shock fade in those rough, relentless tracks.
We're on team now. I think everyone needs to just settle down, including me. I'm so keen to put the 2-in-1 straight through system on and the rear shock, but let's face it, the best way to test changes to your motorcycle is to do one thing at a time. Because if you just bombard it with new parts to improve a certain trait, you're not going to know exactly which one is responsible for the good or the bad outcome. So I've put the new Touratech shock in. The shock dimensions are the same length. Already I can feel the ride height has increased, and that's just purely because of the newness, the spring tension. I put 2 turns of preload in, and I just feel that the front is already more lively, more firmer, which, you know, when coupled with the rear, is going to increase that ground clearance to what these big units should be as new. Fresh oil and seals in the fork, new shock, everything else is super tight BMW German spec. It's interesting working on these things. They're different to Japanese bikes. There's a different level of precision and engineering that, I don't know, is equally as perfect as the Jap stuff, but different. I can't explain it. Anyway, let's get into it and feel this new front end.
Oh wow, the plushness of the front. Okay, first hit. Honestly, if you're going to transform your motorcycle, it all starts with how trustworthy the front wheel is, the front end is. Once you can trust, whoa, how the bike steers, take hits and maintains traction, especially in this scenario, rocky downhill with kickers, G-outs, and the biggest of units is handling it like a boss. If you're setting up your adventure bike, you've got to get the thing dialed in without luggage first. Optimize the standard settings and suspension and get the thing as balanced as you can, and then you start to work on it. Whoa, the general balance of the Rhino was great before, but the suspension action was just a 30-year-old stock standard adventure bike, Rhino spec. And now I can feel already just the plushness, and it's getting better, it's bedding in. The way it touches down, that tyre is sticking, and it's not, it's, in a lot of ways, it's giving me more positive feedback with less harshness. Before it was soggy and harsh, which is a dangerous combination. Now it's firm but plush. I know that's hard to get your head around, but this is where we're at. Yeah, it's amazing how quick a bike of this size will put heat into the suspension, because it's such a big unit. There is so much force happening that, you know, that valving in there, even though it's, and especially when it's brand new, there's more friction now than say in 1,000 kilometers time. Ah, the Rhino. Front suspension can carry a bad rear shock, but good rear suspension cannot carry bad front suspension. Again, guys, for me, it ultimately comes back to a safety issue. Better suspension is a much safer riding experience, no matter which way you look at it. Charge downhill on the Rhino, who would have thought? Only made possible by confidence inspiring suspension action. The rear's definitely a bit kickety, it's bouncing around, but nothing that the front can't handle.
The way that front is tracking now, game changer. It's like I've forgotten what it used to be like, because the most hardcore riding I've done on this beforehand was that sand session, which was just war zone the whole time. So it was hard to process what the suspension was or wasn't doing, because it was just, you saw it. Now it's given the bike a much lighter feel, and that happens, you know. If you've got a soggy, suspended, heavy machine, they just feel even heavier with their inability to take hits, and every single bump or G-out is exaggerated by the wallowing effect. It just makes the bike feel every bit as heavy as it is. Whereas when you firm it up and it's reactive, and it can take a hit and resume its composure immediately, that translates to a more agile, lighter feel. And yeah, I've definitely took fuel out of it, but just the ability to pick a line and change a line, I knew this was going to happen. it's now, here I am wanting to just settle down and cruise on it, and it's already so much more capable in the bush, and that's just the front end, right? So for me now, getting the suspension operating at the rear every bit as good as the front is, with the ability to carry luggage, and that's what the Touratech suspension is all about, for that tour luggage load carrying capability. Yeah, it's everything I thought it would be, and probably then some. I didn't actually expect it to be as compliant and confidence inspiring as it is, but you know, modern suspension put into a 23-year-old bike, it's gonna happen. I totally gave it a good pounding. I bottomed it twice, and when I say bottomed it, I felt it. I felt it reach its limit, and that's a good thing because I haven't touched the clickers. I don't even know what the clicker offers. I got to read the book, but I think that one and only adjustment there is rebound. I'm not sure, but for now, even if I didn't touch it, it's great. It's all sort of doing what it's meant to do. Dust seals and fork seals are sitting pretty, just gliding through. I'm really happy with that. One thing that's been happening, the harder I'm pounding it, and I better address this sooner rather than later, is this whole tower section is loose. There, oh, there it is. The beak. It's got the oil cooler, it's got everything. Okay, yeah. I need to take some stuff off and have a good look around and tighten some stuff up in there. Oh, yeah, I can see it already. I've lost a couple of bolts. Both sides. Yeah, 2 bolts missing on the bodywork where these indicators come through. No biggie. No biggie for the Rhino. Yeah guys, it's time. Next episode, the acro's going on. I don't care what anyone says. And the rear shock's going in. It's good because it's all happening at the back end there. So that'll be an interesting process. And I just want to say a big thanks to, I joined a GS community page on Facebook. Thanks for the warm welcome, team. A lot of fanatics, a lot of gurus on there, and they diagnosed my Rhino through the video. Loved it. I love that. And they've already set me up with the link to get a new cam chain tensioner for internet people, community, GS community. They're a different breed, and I'm happy to be rolling with them now. So yeah, if you've made it this far, hit the subscribe button, like and share the video, and get ready. Next episode, we're on.